I've just found a small spot in the sun, actually in the direct sunlight, so I almost can't look at the camera. But I thought we could sit down and discuss some of the smaller knives, because I have talked a lot about choppers, large chopping knives, large camp knives, etc. But there are a ton of smaller bark ribbon knives which I find to be very, very good and useful, and that can actually do a lot of the work that the bigger knives can do. Not chopping, of course, but still a ton of different tasks. I'm wearing one here today, and that is this is the Grizzly Cub, the test drum. Truth be told, I haven't used this one an awful lot, but I still know for a fact that I like this knife and the design, and I will be using it more and more. As it feels very nice in hand. The blade size is perfect for most tasks, except chopping and also maybe batoning larger pieces of woods. But other than that, I feel comfortable doing most things with this one. The actual production run will be a bit different. Then we're going to remove the choil, and they're also going to make the blade a bit thinner, and with some jimping on the spine. There might be other things that they are changing as well that I can't remember for the time being. Maybe they're making a longer fuller or something like that, but I think the production run will be an excellent knife as well. So if you don't know about it, I recommend you to check it out. I have my pre-ordered, I have two pre-ordered, one in pink and one in Burgundy canvas micarta, pre-ordered at DLT, which is the best option for me living in Europe. Well, enough about the Cub, I guess. I have a bunch of blades with me today. I usually carry a combo of two knives, one bigger and one smaller, or I carry a medium-sized knife and a small axe. But today I brought a bunch of knives with me because I wanted to, do a bit different tasks here in the forest, and I wanted to show the knives in action. But right now I feel like I packed maybe 2 or 3 knives too many, because this bag is getting sort of heavy, and it's also getting sort of warm sitting here now. So the knives I brought with me in the smaller sizes, and funny thing here, because smaller, I guess, is a relative term. I have the JSX5 in here, and I have the Grizzly, and I did some chopping before, but I also brought my pink Survivor, which I sort of wouldn't call a smaller knife, to be honest, but in this company with the JSX5 and the Grizzly, I guess it is smaller. Still very heavy. This is a large knife, and this is a very compact knife. It can do a ton of stuff. It can do almost anything, I reckon. It didn't get a top placement in my chopping contest, and that was for a few different reasons. And I also, this is one of the few knives where my hand actually hurt after not really excessive chopping, but after having done some chopping, my hand started to hurt. I would have loved for the handle to be just, tad bit longer. Would have been perfect for my hands. still a really good knife for heavy work. Anyways, now we're moving back to the somewhat smaller blades. I'll take a sip. Let's see. What do we have here? We have the Bravo 1.5. I think there's an LT version coming out, maybe in a few months. I'm not really sure. But this is the standard 1.5 3V Bravo. This was one of the first knives I bought, and I bought the ramped one. So it is the same model, but it's not the exact knife that I bought in my first Bark River Knives order. I think this is a good all-around knife. It's, you know, can do a lot with it. It's not very light, depending on what you compare it with, because I have a few different knives here that are about the same size but a lot lighter. We have for example, the 1.25 LT, also in 3B steel, and I think that, you know, truth be told, I think they can do pretty much the same sort of tasks. Maybe you want some extra blade length for batooning, but other than that, I like my 1.5. I mean, I have two of them and I like them, but I think that 1.25 is how should I put it? I tend to go with this knife over the 1.5 because it is a tad bit thinner, it is lighter. Sure, the blade length may be a bit shorter, but it's just for general purpose. I do prefer the 1.25 over the 1.5. Both are terrific knives, however. So I mean, if you prefer a slightly thicker, slightly longer blade, a bit heavier, if you have no problem with that, then this is a really good knife. Actually, I'm gonna keep my 125 there, and I'm gonna put away my 1.5, because the next knife is this one, and this is, I think this is my favorite Bark River knife out of the ones I have in this in the smaller size, or in the medium size, I should say. This is not a small knife either. There are a lot smaller knives. This is the Aurora II. Aurora II, and you can compare it to the 1.25 LT. As you can see, the Aurora has a slightly longer blade and a bit different handle. When someone asks me for their first Bark River knife, what is a good pick? That is an almost impossible question, because there are a lot of different things that will decide which is the best knife for you. But I usually recommend the 1.25 LT or the Aurora II for general purpose camping, hiking, most common tasks. And that is the reason why I recommend these two, is because I feel like you can't go wrong with any one of these. There might be knives that better suit your needs, that better suits your preferences. Although maybe you don't have your preferences clear yet, but these two knives are, in my opinion, top picks for general purpose knives. I like using them both. I mean, I do tend to pick the Aurora II over the 1.25 LT. That is because you get a bit more blade. You get a knife that is, I don't have the exact specs here, but I feel like the Aurora II is in fact even lighter than the 1.25 LT. And the handle just suits my hand really well. So this is, in my opinion, this is one of my absolute favorite Bark River knives. I also brought some smaller ones with me. This one here is the Matterhorn. It was also one of the first Bark Rivers I got my hands on. I bought it in green canvas micarta, but I found this one in maroon liner micarta at DLT, and I felt I just had to order it. So I love the design. I love how it looks and feels. It's a hidden tang. It's sort of a bowie design. We can compare the blade size to the 1.25 LT just for reference, and the handle as well. So both handle and blade is smaller than the 1.25 LT. And I guess that the Matterhorn is really not a camp knife or a knife to carve wood or batoon, etc. I've never done batooning or anything like that with this knife. I have done a lot of woodwork with it, however, and I feel like it can do that, but there are knives that can do it even better. Feels great in hand, despite the handle being on the small side. It fits my hand pretty well. I mean, I have big hands. I was complaining about the Survivor not long ago, but then again, doing light movements with the knives or heavy chopping, it's a bit different. But this one, yeah, small handle, feels great in hand. If you like the design of this one, I should probably mention, I don't have it with me, but there is a model called Snowy River, Bark River Snowy River, that looks a lot like this one, but it has a smaller blade and also an even smaller handle. I like that knife as well, but I haven't used it that much, to be honest. But this is one, in my opinion, one of the more aesthetically appealing knives. Just it looks gorgeous, in my opinion. The final one is also the smallest one, and this is the Mini-Aurora. Now this is a small knife. You can compare it to the Matterhorn. So as you can see, the handle is smaller and the blade is also a lot smaller and totally different design and shape. This is one of my favorite Bark River knives. out of them all. I mean, and that comes as no surprise, I guess, because I also give the Aurora II a lot of praise, that being one of my other favorite knives. In fact, I should probably show it side by side with the Aurora II. The Mini-Aurora is in 3V steel as well. It may be small, but it is, in my opinion, a very tough knife. There are a lot of things you obviously cannot do with this knife, but for those tasks, bring another tool. This is not a one-tool option when out camping or hiking. This is a terrific small knife for tasks that require a smaller size knife. It is very light. You almost don't feel it when you carry it, and yet it's super tough. Great knife. Check it out, honestly. I know a lot of people are going to say that I should get a ULB, ultralight bushcrafter, to compare it with, and all I can say is that I am going to get an ultralight bushcrafter because I'm very curious about that model. But that knife, I mean, it is in my opinion, a sort of different knife from the Aurora II in blade shape and design. But that is also the reason why I want to check it out. I think there are no more blades hidden here. I know I haven't given a lot of specs, but I thought it would be nice to just sit down here in the sun and, you know, show some knives, compare them a bit, talk about them. I can try to do some videos using the knives so you can see some action. But out of all these knives, and also including this one, I would say that the Aurora II and the Mini-Aurora are my top picks. And for the larger knives, my top pick would be the Grizzly, second generation.